they're actually all good.
All right, just check it.
But,
I had to check. You weren't when you were doing the tub refinishing. You weren't listening to psychedelic music like Pink Floyd and that stuff, were you?
Grateful Dead.
No
Were you wearing tie dye?
No, no Grateful Dead.
Yeah. Well, did you have a tie dye shirt on at all?
Did you say what's up,
I got
dude?
No.
Yeah. Did you use the term "dude" at any point during the?
At any point in time, were you playing
I can't
hacky
use the
sack?
term dude.
Have you ever gone to a house band concert?
Nope.
Sir, I think you have a lot
All right.
of worrying for nothing.
All right.
I told you this was off the wall, but I just want to know: am I wasting my time? I'm very upset about her
All right.
ruining my business.
So listen,
Even though there's only a couple of us that work there, I want some recourse with this lady.
what you're alleging is slander. Okay, slander is the action of making a false spoken statement damaging to a person's reputation. So before you get to slander, you have to show damage. Okay. If you lost your job, that's prima facie evidence of damage that you lost she called your boss, you got fired when he hung up the phone. There you have a direct prima facie right on its face damages. If someone comes up to you and says, "Are you okay? We heard you were on drugs," or you're denied, you try to get into a country club or you try to join a club and they vet you and they say, "No, we heard you're on drugs," you have damages. If you don't have damages, she's a disgruntled person, and she's probably not very happy, and she's spreading unhappiness. So, I would not make a big deal of it if there's no damages. I just move on to your next person, your next client, your next customer.
I couldn't agree more.
All right, thank you guys. That's probably what I was thinking, but I knew if I would have lost my job, there'd be more recourse. But
well, you just need to calm down and have some fentanyl or whatever you people do to calm down.
Oh my God! Although if she says it again, I would send a cease and desist letter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank
Wonderful.
you guys. That's great.
And
Thank you.
and gain some weight. That way they'll never suspect it. Okay.
I'm going to eat a cheeseburger right now.
There you go.
Take my advice. Go over to Swenson's. They got a good one. Thank you. All right. News Radio 570 WKBN. Did he say it'd been a house band concert? Because I'm telling you, folks, whew,
He didn't.
I tell you.
He didn't confirm.
Ron, you've
or
been to
deny.
house band concerts. You've taken a good look around. You know what goes on there. It's good,
There's a lot of
wholesome
people
family fun.
Right. There's a lot of people on drugs. They're usually for their arthritis, or
Right. For their cholesterol,
They're
high
on
blood
statins.
pressure.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're usually prescription drugs. A lot of people are on them. So it's just the band that, as you get older, the following gets a little bit older. Although I heard you were excellent at a wedding that you guys were doing, from David told me you did a great job.
Oh,
It's,
thank you.
it's,
Thank you.
A wedding that was really outstanding, but you didn't do the Love Train, which I was very sad to hear and disappointed. I mean, one of the classic songs.
That's normally part of the repertoire. I don't know why we did. We got to bring that back for weddings. That's a great suggestion. We're going to bring that back.
All right. With our attorneys tonight, you're on the air. Hello there.
Would you like to do an excessive force case?
Well, tell us about it first. We'd like to hear about it.
Well, it's kind of a long story.
All right. Well, I tell you what.
It would take me a long time to do this.
Well, we got to have some details about it, but let me do this. You start it, then I got to pause for my headlines, and then we'll continue on, and then try to answer your question. Who did excessive force on you? Who are you?
Miles Police.
All right. The police, you say.
I was choked, and while I was handcuffed, I was choked and punched with a karate fist, martial arts fist, about 10 times in the ear and nose.
Why?
I was wondering if you guys would want to take it. If not, then I'll just have to forget it.
What were you charged with?
Are you
What
there,
was
guys?
what was the underlying charge?
Yeah.
What were you being accused of?
I was accused of assault, resisting arrest, which I didn't do.
All right. Stand
And,
by. Just hang on. I got to pause for my headlines. I'll come back. All right. We'll come back to you. We'll get the rest of your information after this. It's a legal show brought to you by Beatrice Kopp. We'll be right back.
We're just hours away from our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
The biggest headliners in live music will be taking over T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas.
Plus, some special surprises and moments you are not going to want to miss.
Stream only on Hulu. Tomorrow and Saturday, starting at 10:30 p.m.
Capital One is the proud presenting partner of the
And so we are here for you to answer legal questions, as we've done with the longest running legal show on radio. This is it. It's all courtesy of Beatrice Cop. So if you have a legal question or problem, pick up the phone and give us a call, 330-729-9977, 330-729-9977. I have two lines in Youngstown open for legal questions till 6 o'clock tonight. 330-729-9977. 9977. Free legal advice, 330-729-9977 till 6 o'clock tonight for our legal eagles, all courtesy of Beatrice Cop, longest running legal show, News Radio 570 WQAM. Now, let me go back to the caller. So you were obviously you had some confrontation with the police, and they charged you with resisting arrest. And is that when?
And I got 3 other charges. Yeah.
Were you okay?
I was handcuffed.
Yeah.
and I wasn't resisting arrest. After I was handcuffed, I was punched in the nose, and I was choked with a rubber orange glove.
Sir, while you have
suction clubs.
a pending criminal
They had
charge,
suction cups on the glove. And I got had marks on my neck. They punched me in the ear, in the nose.
After you were
10
handcuffed.
times. After I was handcuffed, and I need somebody to want to do it. I'll come into your office and
Do you know? Okay, let me ask
I know
you.
we're going to win.
Was there a body camera on when this was taking place?
They're supposed to have them, but I know we'll win. We'll put those cops on witness stand, and I'll tear them up. I guarantee it.
All right.
My question, and I know what to ask them.
Well,
what would you ask? Go ahead, Mark.
The one guy said to let go because he was choking me to death. Okay.
All right.
He tried to choke me till I pass out, just like the George Floyd.
All right. Go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to tell them to call the office. We'll get you in and we'll talk to you. So,
You guys want it?
Well, you said call the office.
Yeah, call
come
the
in and
office.
they'll
We'll talk
to you.
about it.
All right, I'll come in tomorrow. Thank you.
Well, you got to
sir.
make an appointment.
I'll do that.
Well, yeah, you just don't walk in the door. You got to call and make an appointment. All right.
All right, I'll do that. Thank you, sir.
All
Thank
right,
you.
You know what I mean? Usually there's some type of body cam video.
Yeah,
don't you think,
and you know what? There's a direct correlation. Now, understand, officers are allowed to use force. Okay, they're allowed to use whatever force that's necessary in order to gain restraint, to control an inmate, to control someone that they're arresting. When you talk about excessive force, it's if the force is not reasonable and it appears to be unnecessary under the circumstances. So, I mean, it's all set out in the administrative code. So, I mean, you read the code, it tells you what's excessive, what's not excessive, but they're permitted to use force. But being punched in the face while handcuffed, that may be excessive.
maybe.
right?
Unless he was
And-
headbutting him or something like that.
And if you can get one officer to talk about the other one, or well, everybody has their version. Right?
Well, yeah, they're not,
Let's just
I don't
put
think
that
you're
way.
going to get officers to talk about each other, especially if they're on the same arrest. But if there is video camera, and there should be, they should have body cams, I would imagine. They're all due, and in their cars too, right?
Most of the departments have body cams these days.
I think
And then
we'd start there.
if it shut off at that time, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe that leads to something else. All right, so call the office and come on in. News Radio 570 WQN, you're on the air.
Yes, hi. I'm going through a divorce right now, and the only real asset that we have is the house.
All right.
And here's my question, and I'm from Pennsylvania. You might recognize my voice,
I
Ron.
don't,
Hi.
but how long have you been married?
Well, 20 years.
20 years. Okay, that's important. Go ahead, Mark.
Right.
Or go ahead. What's your question?
Okay, here's the question. So in 2015, the house that we bought, we refinanced, okay? Basically because to get his mother off the deed, and there was reasons, but he and I, we refinanced. And everything was okay. But about 2017 or so, he must have found a girlfriend. I didn't know. 18, he just moved out. I didn't even know what was going on. He just didn't show up anymore, okay, at home. So I didn't know where he was, and I didn't really want to have to chase him down. But basically, what had happened is, so that 2018, I'm paying the mortgage and the taxes and the insurance all on my own. And I'm paying, then I find out that I am the only one on the note. Even though my understanding was he was going to be on the note together with me. He's on the mortgage, he's on the deed, but he's not financially responsible. So we are separated, and through COVID and some other crazy things where we couldn't sell the house. So I'm paying on the house by myself for, 5 years. Now we go to sell the house. And of course, he wants, the thing, half of whatever the equity is. What I want to know is, in Pennsylvania, can I ask him for half of the mortgage, taxes, and insurance that I had to pay on the house? house, his house.
The simple answer, can you ask? Yes, you could ask for anything. Whether you'll get it or not is another story. Understand, Pennsylvania is a commonwealth, and domestic law is one of the few laws that changes sometimes from state to state. There's not a uniform domestic law that applies to the whole country. So I am not licensed in Pennsylvania. I can only speak to you under Ohio law. So if this was,
well, let's use Ohio law and speculate.
All right. So understand, the first mistake that you made is you have a duty. If he moved out in 2018, you have to mitigate damages. You have to mitigate the difficulties of your case, which you could have done by filing for a divorce in 2018. You would have avoided all this. But by not doing that, I'm not saying you're as guilty as he is walking out, but once he walks out and the marriage is over, then formally get the marriage over, file a divorce. And so you don't have these issues. The longer these things sit there and they're not addressed, the bigger of a problem they become when they have to be addressed years down the road. If I were representing you,
Okay.
I would argue that the de facto date for your termination of marriage was 2018. So the court should go back to 2018 and determine how much equity was in the house at that time. You could do that. You hire an appraiser, and they will make a determination as like a forensic kind of an appraisal to determine what the house was worth in 2018. That would define the equity. And then I would argue that any equity beyond 2018 is yours, but the court does not have to grant a divorce back to 2018. They could say, if you wanted a divorce, you should have filed it. You could have filed it at any point in time in the last 6 years, and you didn't.
But it's a good argument for her to even suggest to her Pennsylvania attorney,
Yeah,
you want a domestic relations attorney. Yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a good argument.
Well,
or certainly he can even argue, well, that's a great argument. That's just a great way to approach it.
One of the things you learn in law school is you throw everything against the wall and you see what sticks. So I would raise every single argument.
Okay, quick question for you. Why didn't you divorce him in 2018? Why did it take up this long to pull the trigger?
Well, I didn't even know what it was, because he kept saying it's not what you think. It's not what you think.
Yeah, but he
So,
left. I mean, he moved out. He's not there.
He left, but I didn't know why. And you never know. You could leave, and in 3-6 months, you could come back. And
But
if
in
I
6
wanted to
years.
take him back, maybe I'd take him back.
Yeah, but it's been 6 years.
Well, I had to get a protection from abuse, and that lasted for 2 years, so that we couldn't really talk. And there was another issue with the value of the house, because they were going to maybe put a road behind the house, and we had to find out, because that would affect the value.
But let me throw this at you. If you had to get a protection from abuse, would you want the guy back?
Yeah.
Probably not.
And if you got protection, protection.
Oh, no, that was long after. That was long after, and we were and he had filed. I mean, he had filed for divorce.
Right.
I didn't. I was struggling, because I never anticipated that I'd have all of this that I'd have to do on my own. The other interesting, I thought this was a partnership type of thing.
Sure.
The other thing that was interesting, and I did not realize, I thought we were both on the note. We both sat there, we signed papers and all this kind of thing. And he kept most of the papers and important stuff like in his office. He's also a narcissist, and I know that's thrown around a lot. But let me tell you, classic. I could help that girl if she wanted to call me. But anyhow, so I went over. So recently, I looked at I had gone to the closing company guy, and I will tell this to every woman out there, the one who did the closing. I told him I wanted every copy of everything in my file, which he was a little hesitant, but I said I want everything. When I looked at those papers and I compared them, because when I said, how did I end up being the only one on the hook for the money, or the only one on the note? He says, well, you signed it. I looked. While I was signing for the note, he signed 3 different copies of that 3-day right of rescission. 3 different signatures with 3 dates dated. So basically what was happening, I was getting the copy that I signed up for the mortgage. He's getting a copy of 3-day right of rescission. So it looked like we were both signing, but we weren't.
Well, you were
And I think
deceived.
that-
Yeah, you were deceived.
Yeah,
I
but
was deceived, and I'm smarter now.
well,
Right.
one misconception that I deal with from time to time is people say, well, my spouse is not on the deed or my spouse is not on the mortgage. Therefore, they don't have an ownership interest or an interest in the equity of the home. Understand, so long as you purchase the home after you're married, you don't have to be on the deed or the
Right.
mortgage. It's a marital asset. So there's a dower right that goes along with it. So whether you're on the
he
mortgage,
made sure he's on the deed. He made sure he was on the deed. He just wasn't on the note, which means he, financially, because I asked my my mortgage company this, like he was totally not financially responsible. I was the only one.
well, if you
It's only
defaulted,
on my credit report.
if you defaulted on the mortgage, I guarantee you, if they filed a lawsuit, the mortgage holder would name your husband as a defendant, as a John Doe spouse. So they would go after him because he doesn't have to be on the mortgage. If he's married to you, they could go after him. So unless he signs
Okay.
off his dower right at the time you secure the financing.
Well, I just wanted to know because I just don't think it's fair that
Well, Mark gave you a good
You know, you're-
strategy. I mean, find yourself a good domestic lawyer in Pennsylvania to pursue that strategy and see what happens. Now, when he left you for this very young, attractive girlfriend of his, oh, I'm sorry. Never
No.
mind.
At least you could laugh
I know.
about it.
Well, she was younger, but they have more in common. And you know what? Here's the thing: if you just said, "Hey, I've met somebody. They both like to ski. They ride bikes. So they have more in common." Okay, fine. But see, letting me know information is, then maybe I would have moved out of it. This situation faster.
Right.
I would have wanted something. But they always keep you in the dark because that's a control thing.
Right.
So you don't really know what's going on, and then the gaslighting starts.
Yeah, he wanted the best of
I
both
feel
worlds.
For that girl.
He wanted
Yeah.
the security of a marriage,
I'm
and he wanted
sorry?
to act like he was single.
You get on with the rest of your life and find happiness. You
Oh.
deserve it. You
Oh,
really do.
I totally am. As I said, I'm moving to back to Youngstown and starting a new beginning, and I'm really excited about it. So
There you
as
go.
long
Wonderful.
as just get this over with, and
Right.
I'm good. All right. Well, thank you so much for the advice.
Good
Thank
luck.
you for your
Appreciate it.
call. It's well, what did you say? Every woman says he's a narcissist. And
Yeah.
So far, Mark, you're batting 2-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but that's a teachable moment here. You got to know when it's over and when there's a time to save it. I don't know. And I'd say it's probably 50-50. Some people half want the divorce, half don't. When I meet with people and clients, some of them are committed. The switch is flipped and that's it. The love is stopped. It's the power is shut off. But the other half of the people kind of, what's unknown is sometimes frightening. The dysfunction is better than the dysfunction that you don't know. So they might want to stay in the marriage, but at some point in time, the longer you hold on, you're only going to create problems for yourself if you subsequently do file for divorce, because you have that long gap between when you were happily married and when you filed for divorce. And no matter if you're separated, so if you haven't been divorced, anything you're acquiring, good and bad, is marital.
Yeah.
So,
you
know
don't
when,
want that
know
to
when to say
happen.
when, know when it's over, and get it done and do it the right way.
Yeah. I know a guy that had a similar problem like that. His wife's name was Ruby, and he begged her, please don't take your love to town. But
How is Kenny?
remember that song, Mark?
Yeah.
Ruby.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Her brother was the coward of the county.
What was the other one? Where it was a Ruby where the, stuff still in the field and all that kind of stuff.
Picked a
right?
fine time to leave me, Lucille.
Lucille, yeah.
These oldies
That's
are over
another
my
good
head.
one.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah.
You get picked up fine time to leave me, Lucille, with a crop in the fields. And
Yep. He
forget
wrote
the
some
rest
good
of it.
songs, Kenny Rogers.
Oh, you better, even back in the days of the first editions.
That's what the kid said who's he wrecked his go-kart. He said, "You picked a fine time to leave me, loose wheel."
Is that okay? That kind of humor you only get at a house band
That's-
concert, folks.
That's a dad joke.
Melfi doesn't even know what we're talking about.
He
you know
looks
what I
like a
mean?
deer in headlights right
Clueless.
now. I'm looking at
Right,
him.
I-
He's looking at me like, what
Right,
are
I
we
mean,
talking about?
With Melfi, he's just listening to that P. Diddy stuff all the time. You know what I mean?
Come on.
All right, you're on the air with our attorneys tonight. Hello. Wait a second. There you go. Hello.
So this should be easy. I actually think I might know the answer. Traveling eastbound on a 4-lane highway separated by a double line. A bus is coming westward, so you're facing each other, and they put on their red flashing lights. Do you have to stop?
4-lane highway?
4-lane.
What kind of bus?
No. School bus.
School bus.
You do not if you
Yeah, 4-lane highway. I don't think
know.
you have to stop. No.
No.
Normally, a school bus, when you have
Okay,
to stop, the stop sign comes out.
Yeah, but if, for example, Mark, if you would be on, let's say, 46 in Austintown, let's use that as a 4-lane road, and you stop, the child's going to be getting off on the right. The left side doesn't have to stop. You follow me? The left
Yeah.
two lanes.
Yes. Yes, I follow you.
Yeah, that's exactly what because I was in that situation on West Market Street in Warren, double line, and all these people were stopping. I'm like, you don't have to stop. It's a double line. Plus, the bus is on the other side of the double line, and they're never going to cross over, so you don't have to stop.
Right.
I just wanted to get clarification. Thank you.
You're good. Next time, blow the horn and give them this gesture. Never mind. Okay, I'm sorry. You're on the air, 5:50 with her. It's tough on me tonight, Mark. 5:51. You're on the air with the legal show. Hello, caller. What's your question?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, am I on the air?
Yes, you are.
Oh, gosh. Thank goodness. I bought property, and the tenants cleaned out the property. I did not have a lease agreement because it was with a family member.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the original purchase agreement, and it states that everything should have been left as part of the business. It says, together with building fixtures and equipment, if any, and it says upon, I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. I'm trying to get it all
Okay,
out
don't be
here.
nervous.
So just so I understand, you bought a business off of your relatives, and they were supposed to leave everything. Is that accurate? Yes or no?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, sir.
All right. Well, go ahead. Wait a minute. Hang on a minute. Hang on 30 seconds.
Commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like One Hit Wonders Radio. The greatest one-hit wonders of all time. Ones you definitely remember. And ones that'll make you say, oh yeah. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search One Hit Wonders, and listen now, commercial-free. Free never sounded so good.
All right, we got that out of the way for a second. All right, so I want to go back to the caller here. So tell him again. Just start again. You bought a real estate.
I bought a business, and the family was leasing it from us. And when they left, they took everything out of it. And
What?
according to my purchase agreement, the building fixtures and equipment, it was all supposed to stay.
Did you purchase
What
it
did they
from the
take?
family?
No, she bought a business and you leased it out to a family member, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when
so-
they left, they took all the stuff.
and they didn't sign a
They
lease.
literally gutted my building.
What did they take when you say
They
gutted?
even-
Did they take office
took-
equipment? What
they took-
fixtures?
They took all fixtures. They left 4 walls. That's it.
They took the light fixtures.
The lights are still hanging, but they took everything else.
When you say everything, what kind of a
It's an
business
oil-
was it? Tell me what kind of equipment do you have with this business?
It's a quick lube.
Okay, so they took everything but. Okay, they took
And all that equipment was there when you leased it to them.
When I bought it and when they were leasing it, yes.
I would make a police report.
Make a police report because, and the thing about the purchase agreement, that doesn't matter. Even if you didn't have a lease, they can't gut
Right.
all
No,
of the
that's
contents
theft.
inside.
That's
Yeah, it's
theft.
theft. Make a police report.
I tried to, and they told me that they wouldn't, that it was a civil matter.
Well,
I tried to file a police report twice.
Did you
Did you
evict
sue,
them
Mark?
or they just left?
well, yeah, you could totally sue.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, that sounds like criminal conduct. I don't know why they would say it's a civil
And
action.
I'll
I mean,
tell you
it
this.
could be. Yeah, there's a civil element to it. But if you sue them, we could get a judgment, but that doesn't guarantee that you're getting your stuff back.
Yeah, there's a
If they're charged criminally, then it's a condition of whatever they end up doing with the criminal charge that you get your stuff back.
you could
So-
sue them
Mark-
civilly for conversion, in
Yeah,
like in our Florida
unjust enrichment,
yeah,
all
in our
that
Florida practice, they have what's called civil theft. And if someone steals your property, you're entitled to triple the value. And I don't know if Ohio has a similar statute, but definitely under the common law, you have a conversion claim.
And
So-
Conversion, but because the police officers said that it's a civil matter, they wouldn't even file a report.
How is
Conversion's a
stealing,
civil claim.
But let me ask you, Jim, how is stealing? She leased the building with the equipment in it. When she evicted them, how is stealing the stuff that she leased to them in the building not a crime?
I
agree.
I disagree with the police departments.
if I would have to
Yeah.
call, I would retain counsel and have your lawyer call and find out why they said it's not, they're not going to take a report. I think they have to take a report. How much? What do you think the value was of
They even ripped out the underground storage tank monitoring system.
how much? What's the dollar value of everything they took?
$100,000.
Right around there.
I mean,
you have-
that's a
and-
felony.
Yeah, and loss of use of the business.
Yeah.
You have
And
real
that's just that They
damages.
didn't want to see us running it.
Yeah, it doesn't work that
It
way.
was vindictive. It wasn't.
So listen to what they're saying. This is a terrible thing to say, but you know what? I think you should go down seriously. Jim, would you mind if she called you?
I have no
Melfi?
issue with that.
All right, so I'm going to make a recommendation to you because you've been dealt a serious. What happened to you is wrong, and it's $100,000. Call Attorney Melfi tomorrow and ask him what you need an attorney. These are big numbers you're talking about, and to get a police report first to get that moving, and then to go to the next step to get your equipment back. You're going to have to invest a little bit of money for a lot of money that you've been screwed out of. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Now wait. Let me write this number down. All right. For Jim, it's Jim Melfi. He's really
Okay.
smart. 330
Yes, sir.
746. I think it's 8484, right, guys?
That's
yes.
All right. 330-746-8484. Jim, help this woman out, will you?
I will.
appreciate it. All right.
Give
Give
me
him
a call tomorrow.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your help.
Thank you. I mean, that makes zero sense to me. That's not a civil issue when her stuff was stolen.
No,
to
they
that
should
degree.
have taken the police report too. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't
that.
understand why they wouldn't. I mean, it's clear, it's blatant theft. And if it's
In large.
$100,000 worth of equipment, I mean, that's a serious
And
matter.
she's also losing out the loss of her use of her business.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Quick calls. Quick question for our attorneys. Go. Hello, caller.
I'm concerned that we haven't heard from Dave Beatrice, and I'm worried about none of those other lawyers said a word about that.
Oh,
Dave's in a
There's something
criminal.
up.
Dave's and Frank are in a criminal trial, a jury trial that they just closed today. Frank made closing statements. The
So
jury
Dave's
will
working.
Yeah, he's working. The jury's deliberating, and
all right.
we'll probably have
That's
him
all
next
we
week.
need. All right. You're on the air. Quick question, caller. Go.
What are you worried about? Right here. I'm always all right here. Okay?
What a plant call.
Don't you worry.
Well, we're-
Okay, I can't help it. I didn't get out of court till 5:30 p.m. Wasn't my fault.
all right. Well,
That's how late the judge kept us.
hey, the good news is the program's over. We're out of time. So it worked out perfect.
Oh, well, that's the good news.
All right, thank you, Dave. Hey, the Legal
Thanks,
Show
Ron.
brought to you by Beatrice Kopp. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate
See you,
it.
Ron.
All right, News Radio 570 WKBN.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Darius Rucker.